And here we go. Critique-Opolis is back, and this week it's the lovely and talented Louisa's pick. Now, I had seen the preview for this. Actually, no, I take that back. I may have seen part of the preview, but I'd seen the title before at the very least, but I was not incentivized to watch it until you pushed me in that direction. What did we see this week?
This movie, you mean?
Yeah.
What did we see?
Are you awake? Do we need to add more octane to that tea of yours, or?
I fell asleep. But I'll try to wake back up. This week we saw Tim's Vermeer.
All right.
And this is a documentary movie about...
Who directed this?
I think...
Oh, Teller directed it.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay. Way to go, Teller.
I mean, I didn't realize that either, actually. But, so I didn't mean to say yes like that. But, this guy...
Play to the audience,
Tim.
Louisa. You knew it. You totally knew it was Teller.
I did not. I saw them on the screen and I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't know he directed it. I thought that maybe the person that the movie's about did.
Yeah, because he wasn't taking on enough roles.
Yeah, he needed one more thing to do. But it is a movie about a guy named Tim, and Tim is is he a computer engineer? Did I have that right?
Yes, he created the software. At least when I was in college, it had a lot of use in video production. It was called Video Toaster, which has since been replaced by a number of like a zillion different software packages, most of which are online now. But Video Toaster in the day, it was a separate, it was a software package that you would load onto the PC to do editing and finishing of video projects. But yeah, he crafted the whole concept and built it and marketed and sold it.
Yeah, that's super cool. When it was mentioned in the movie, you're like, oh yeah, I used that when I was in college. So I thought that was neat. I'd never heard of it.
Different curriculum.
True.
Mm-hmm.
But I do wonder if I used it in my film class in high school. So
you may have, because what years
Same
were you
time.
in? Yeah, well,
similar time?
it still would have been around, because I was in. I came across. Actually, I used it when I was in my doing my internship for that video production house in Hawaii, and they used it out there, and that was 95. So 94 to 96, 97. It was definitely being used. But he was the builder of it, and he's a tinkerer and a craftsman. He made a lot of money building Video Toaster, and then I think he had another engineering project after that, but
he had a few, because it sounded like he had like kind of unlimited money.
He had a lot of money.
Had a lot of money to do with what he pleased, and he chose to do all these like cool random projects that that just interested him.
Yeah, that just popped into his head. He's like, I'm gonna make a fan type, a giant fan type jetpack for people who want to roller skate
just
at
for
40 miles
fun.
an hour. Yeah.
Just for fun. And it wasn't like, I loved it because they weren't just ideas that he was like, oh yeah, that would be really neat. He like really went through with it.
Yeah, he
pursued everything. They showed in the movie that
he went out and built it.
He made it all. Yeah, that was just really cool.
Which makes it even more impressive that he did this.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it took him years.
Yeah. And so like, I guess to kind of, it's not. This is a hard movie to encapsulate, because you want to see it. Painting pun again. The broad. He built a caption he built to invert the image.
The
Built a camera obscura, which in essence is a box, goes through and reverses and flips on the other, is projected onto the opposing wall opposite of the lens on the other wall. Mm-hmm. So if you picture a box, on the left side you have a lens. On the inside of that box, the image from the outside of that box is on that wall, but it's flipped upside down. And this, like camera obscura back in when you'll forgive us because we're not painted, but at the time that was high tech.
Very.
And then, but the image is upside down and it's not exactly clear, so I'm going to let you take it here, Louisa, as to how he corrected the image and was able to transpose that from a picture to paint.
I don't know that I can really explain the next step, to be honest. I would just skip.
You want me to help walk you through it?
Yeah, sure. I would just skip ahead to starting to build the set for the movie or the painting.
All right. Well, you do that. I'll tell about the flip. After the image is on the opposing wall, Tim figures out that if you use a mirror on a stand on an angle, you can flip the image back to its original posture.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But if you use a small mirror, you can focus on just a portion of that image. And what Tim figures out is if you use this angled mirror and your vantage point, if you're looking at it, if you blend the edge of the mirror into your canvas, you can paint with no edge. See the movie? It's my explanation, but like if you're looking at if you're looking at a mirror and it's just a perfectly round mirror with no border on it. It's just a piece of glass that has the silver oxide on the bottom. So think of a mirror that the dentist uses on your teeth.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Your canvas is white, and if you look at the mirror in such a way that the edge of that mirror blends into the canvas, you can reconstruct that image with paint slowly.
Very slowly, but you can get it exact.
Yeah, you can get it perfect because any mistakes you make, you can correct immediately.
And you see, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he figures this out, he's like, "Oh, this is a game changer. This is how." We try not to spoil movies, but like it's such a, like the lights went on for him. It's almost like that was the flashpoint. Mm-hmm. You know, that's where like, this is how he got this detail, and then what takes off for him is that I'm kind of hijacking your explanation here, Louisa. I'm sorry, but like, he likes all of Vermeer's paintings, but there's one he falls in love with, and he's like, I have to paint this one, and I'm going to let you take it away from here, because he falls in love. What's the name of the painting he goes for? Is it the music lesson?
It might be, or the music box, or the music something.
It's a lesson. They're working on. It's a painting of them, a student on like a harpsichord. Or I'm going to let you look this up while I.
Yeah. Okay. You keep talking so I can look at the title of the painting.
But I think part of the reason why he chooses this painting to recreate is because it has there's so many elements to it. There's light from an outside window. There is a large tapestry or a carpet with a lot of Persian carpet with a lot of detail. There is a harpsichord that they're working, or it's not a harpsichord, but something like a harpsichord.
I think it is a harpsichord.
Is it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But this isn't like this was a handmade instrument with a lot of detail in the etching and in the painting. Even down to the fabrics that the teacher and the student were wearing were very intricate, and it required him. Go ahead.
It was called The Music Lesson. Very good.
Okay. So how did he do this?
So first of all, well, to go way back, he rented a room in a warehouse, and it was facing, I do believe, in the correct direction of where he thought
he had to orientate
the sunlight was coming through the correct windows. And maybe he knocked out a wall. I mean, I know he knocked out a wall, but I think he knocked out a wall of this building to build windows just like were in the painting. Does that make sense? Okay. And so then he built new window frames. The windows had, I don't know, what do you call that, like black iron in the middle, like the design, like
like wrought iron,
the window frame. Yeah. And so he did all that,
almost like what they have in like Catholic churches, like a
stained glass window,
kind of,
but like the outline of it, right? But
almost like the
drawing.
What do you call that? Where you use like it was almost like solder, but it was like a wrought iron.
Yes, good words. That's better. Yeah. So again, if you see the movie, you'll get the idea. But sunlight that Vermeer would have had to paint with, because he only had
his production time, his painting
hours.
time was limited.
Yeah. And then he continued to but he is obsessed with
Okay, we're back. We keep getting a write error on the recorder, so we'll edit this in post. But anyway,
so we were discussing the movie that I chose, Tim's Vermeer.
Yeah, we can just jump right back into the. He orientated his workspace to the same direction as Vermeer's studio. He only would have had maybe 3 to 5 hours per day to paint, until it was over the noon hour, which would have changed the light in the structure. But he worked on this for
years.
Yeah, and when
at least 2 or 3 every day.
We'll skip ahead a little bit, but like, you remember when he. There was one point where he was just like, I'm sick of doing this.
He was so dedicated for so long. I feel like that was very impressive to me, that he stuck with, because again, he had done other projects before, but they didn't obviously take as long as this one was. I mean, he literally started from nothing and built this entire room, everything in it, and then proceeded to paint the image. And it's so
that nobody knew how Vermeer painted the way he did. Concentrate sunlight on concrete, you'll burn through it eventually. But he was just somebody who had the right cocktail of engineering know-how, and for just stick-to-itiveness and grit to start the project and complete it. This tends to be kind of a theme with the movies that we pick, is just like someone's sheer will to want to do something, and they do it. Whether it's a physical endeavor or a mental or creative endeavor. And once he finally, I remember when he was painting the etching detail on the harpsichord, he was like, "This takes forever." Curved lines were short and numerous and just blindingly intricate. And when he finished, he just wept. And there were, I think what we'll probably hold off on is there was a couple of painting professors who he wanted their expert opinion to look at it and give their input and their reflection on the quality of his copy. And you can probably figure it out, but it's worth seeing, because these are people who are PhD'd and highly accredited in their fields, and
And art and painting, sorry to interrupt, but art and painting is their whole life. This is what they've been doing. Whereas Tim, that's not at all his field. He just had he was just very passionate about these paintings. Mm-hmm. But yeah, very cool, like, backstory. You know, he travels to these different locations and finds these people, drives far away and seeks them out. And
Martin Mull was in this too, which, like, for those of you, Martin Mull was a comedian, but he also had he's also a painter.
Who knew?
It's like Jim Carrey's a painter, and that's like he spends way more time now doing painting than he does doing acting. But I would, like, honest to God, when you told me what this was, I'm like, this isn't going to hold my attention. And I was rapt. I was like, just his desire to, like, I'm going to figure this out. And just as he starts progressing, week after week, I'm like, I can't believe holy cow, he figured out that, and he's replicating this to an absolute T. It's almost like you went back in time and possessed this guy's mind and body and redid it. Mm-hmm. So, quality choice. If you get a chance and you are a fan of by Penn Jillette and Teller from Penn and which made it, and the stage show it's kind of Tim's good, a longtime friend would discuss with rounded way, which was enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, right. I just think it's very. I think this movie would appeal to a lot of people, and I don't know. Would you agree with that? I think that if you sit down and you watch it, and it's a little bit slow to start, but I think once you get into it, I think that, like, you can't stop watching because you have to see how far he goes to get the result that he started the beginning of the movie with in mind. And it's just fascinating.
Yeah. Understand, it's like, if you don't like documentaries, might not be for you, but you know what, even if you don't like a documentary, if you can just appreciate a story of dedication, mm-hmm. especially to, like, craftsmanship,
I think it's different. It's a different kind of a documentary. Like you're saying, if you're not a fan of documentaries, okay, you're not a fan. But this one is different I'm not exactly sure how to articulate it, but it's not like a quote unquote like normal or usual documentary. It's to me, it's done differently.
Yeah, it's like there's project documentaries, and it's. What I find different about it is that it's not. This is an idea that just occurred in someone's head that mm-hmm. is unique to him.
Yes, very well said. Yeah, mm-hmm.
And like I can absolutely appreciate it, but I didn't walk away from. You don't
want to go to art class and paint a picture?
No, I didn't. But it just like you fall in love with his, and we're kind of beating a dead horse here, but you fall in love with his. Dedication and his desire to understand how this was done, and then do it, just to have done it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
it's amazing.
So
I would highly recommend it.
Tim's Vermeer recipe. This I told Louisa this. Okay, so just so everyone knows, this is the third time we're recording the blacklist and the recipe, and it's only because the PodTrack P4 keeps fucking up and not recording when I hit the record button. It looks like it's doing it, and so help me God, if after this third recording it doesn't work, I'm going to stab this thing with a large knife into oblivion and buy one of your competitors. Zoom. Ugh. How angry am I?
Very angry.
Oh, livid. All right. When you feel like cooking and you can get past my rage, the recipe for this week is a ricotta blackberry shortcake with honey and thyme. Damn it. All right, this one's going to be a little involved, so pay attention. 20-minute prep time, 20 minutes to cook, 40 total, 2 sets of ingredients. First one's for the ricotta biscuits. 1/4 cup and 2 tablespoons millet flour, 1/4 cup and 2 tablespoons gluten-free oat flour, 2 tablespoons tapioca flour, 2 tablespoons cornstarch, 2 tablespoons organic blonde cane sugar, 1 tablespoon ground chia seed, 1.5 teaspoons baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon fine salt, 3 tablespoons cold unsalted butter, diced, zest from half a large lemon, 1/2 cup whole milk ricotta cheese, 6 tablespoons cold heavy cream plus 2 tablespoons for brushing the biscuits, coarse sugar for sprinkling. For the shortcakes, 3 cups blackberries halved lengthwise, 3 tablespoons honey, plus a little bit extra for drizzling, 1 to 2 tablespoons loosely packed thyme leaves, plus a few sprigs for the garnish, 1 cup cold heavy cream, 3/4 cup whole milk ricotta, 1 teaspoon sugar, 1/2 teaspoons vanilla extract. Okay, for the biscuits, position the rack in the upper third of the oven, preheat at 325 with a baking sheet with parchment paper. In a large bowl, whisk together millet, oat, tapioca flours with cornstarch, sugar, chia seed, baking powder, and salt. Add the butter and lemon zest, rub with your fingers until the texture looks like gravel with some pea-sized butter bits remaining. Add the ricotta and cream and knead with your hands until the dough becomes like a rough ball. The dough should feel fairly firm but evenly moistened. You got to work quick to keep the dough cold. Turn the dough into a surface dusted lightly with oat flour and form it into a disc. Cut the disc into 6 equal pieces. Shape each piece into a ball. Place on a sheet pan spaced well apart, flatten slightly. Brush the tops of each biscuit with cream and sprinkle with a bit of coarse sugar. If the biscuits have become soft, you can chill or freeze them until they've firmed up a bit. This will keep them from spreading out. You're going to bake the biscuits until they're golden on top, 14 to 18 minutes. Let them cool for about 30 minutes. They're still going to be cooking from residual heat. Just keep that in mind. For the shortcakes, you're going to toss the halved berries with honey and thyme and let them sit for about 10 minutes, up to an hour, no more than 2. Whip the cream, ricotta, and sugar and vanilla until the mixture forms soft peaks. Chill if not using right away. Slice a biscuit in half using a serrated knife. Place the bottom half on a plate, top with a large dollop of ricotta cream and a loaf of the honeyed berries on top. Let them fall off. You're going to go for some aesthetics here. Top with a biscuit lid and then garnish and drizzle honey on top with a sprig or 2 of thyme. I would eat it. It looks delicious. I'm not gluten-free, but some of you out there who are, enjoy. If you could care less about being gluten-free, just substitute the gluten-free flours with flours loaded with gluten. Knock yourself out. Okay, so the blacklist. So help me God, if this doesn't record, I'm going to throw it. Oh, you hear that? Did you hear that bubbling?
Mm-hmm.
What is that?
I don't know, but shake that table one more time.
Oh, that's me. Oh, I thought it was something the matter with the recorder. Oh, okay. The blacklist. This is going to be the short version. Madden is a script that has not been produced and, as near as I can tell, has not been picked up yet. It is the story of John Madden, after being forced into retirement by the Oakland Raiders. Fiery former NFL head coach John Madden teams up with mild-mannered Harvard programmer to rewrite his fading legacy by building the world's first football video game based on a true story. Our primaries that we picked for this, it might be different in the actual movie, but John Madden, Trip Hawkins, who is the founder of EA Arts, the company that made the John Madden football game, and his right hand, Joe Ybarra, was the game designer. I'm going to let you go first with your picks, and just I am beside myself with rage. The first two not having worked. I know there's a party that's looking at me saying, just let it go. I can't let it go. I'm mad at this thing.
It will work this time. It'll be okay.
It better be. Who'd you pick for John Madden?
I picked Emmett Walsh. And
I commented I thought it was a little old because this takes place in '84 when Madden was around 45-ish. But
the photo that I looked at.
No, I get it.
No, I mean, I'm not telling you. I'm just saying that, you know.
It does look like he could play.
So in like the later years we were talking, like he might be a good choice when he had to age.
Flashback scenes. And did you have another one for him?
I did have another one just in case. Unfortunately, he's passed on, but Albert Feeney would be a good one.
Solid.
For John Madden.
You never saw him in Miller's Crossing?
No, I don't. No, I've never heard of that movie.
He was a Irish mob guy in.
Oh, he would have been perfect for that. Yeah. I haven't seen a lot of his earlier films. I know he's an older act. Okay.
That was from the 90s. He was still in his 40s, 50s in that movie. I wanted John Candy, but he's no longer with us. I mean, you got to admit, John Candy would be perfect to play John Madden. But I went with Ethan Suplee because they're both big, heavy guys. But Ethan has since started working out like a lot in the past year and a half, 2 years, and he's kind of ripped and built now. But he could still play a heavy John Madden. John wasn't really known for being a lanky character. He was a big football coach, heavy guy. And then Trip Hawkins, again, the owner of EA Arts. He actually came from Apple. You picked who again?
I chose Andy Garcia.
Andy Garcia. I went with Matthew Lillard. But I think both have. You probably saw that picture of Trip Hawkins with his hair slicked back.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that what did it for you? For like his
Garcia and his face.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. 100%.
I saw a couple of pictures of Trip with. He has a real wide, toothy grin, and Matt Lillard fits that pretty much to a T. But very, very expressive face. Very. He has a lot of anima in his face, and he's from Michigan, so you know.
Yeah, go blue.
There it is again. Joe Ybarra, who I think is of Filipino descent. I picked Ki Hui Kwan, but he's gotten a ton of press lately, so maybe he doesn't need the work. My number one pick is a Southeast Asian actor named Joseph Marco. I don't think he has a ton of Hollywood stateside credits, but he's done a lot of work in Asia. And put a pair of glasses on him, he looks just like Joe Ybarra, in my opinion. He was in movies called Saturday Night Chills and Dear Other Self. Your pick was who?
Harry Shum Jr. And he is, I think, best known for his role on Glee, which I think ran for like 8 seasons. So
Oh, wow,
he's,
yeah.
I mean, it would definitely be a different role for him to play, but he looks like Joe Ybarra.
That's what we go for. We haven't necessarily, especially when they're true stories, and the characters haven't necessarily spent a lot of time on television. We have to guess as to what their behavior would be like, but physicality is a big part of us casting them. So that's who we think. We'll have another movie for you in a couple weeks. Keep your fingers crossed. Toodaloo.
Fingers crossed, yes. Bye.